Welcome to our second Multimedia Professional Development Day with KET. I hope if you joined us before virtually on Monday that you had a great session. I thought that they were all excellent. But we're going to dive into GarageBand today. This is the year where project-based learning really takes off, right? So what I'm hoping with this is that you will find a new skill set to take into whatever content you're teaching and be able to do some music production with students to teach science, math, media literacy, English language arts, art, whatever you want. So we are going to dive right in. If you've never worked with GarageBand before, it is a music production software that's free through Apple. There are lots of products out there that work on other platforms such as Soundtrap if you do not have an Apple product or Apple device. So I know that that is kind of a challenge, but we're going to use GarageBand today. It's free. It's pretty sophisticated for a free app. So I am going to go on and switch over to the Media Lab so you don't have to hear that echo anymore. And I'm going to Okay, so we're going to be looking for GarageBand app, and that looks like a little guitar. If you've not already opened it, mine is, it's got a little guitar. Mine is at the bottom right of my dock. So I'm going to click on that to open it up. Oops. And it should be on this page for you. I do not have any handouts. This is being recorded, so you can find it on our YouTube channel, KET Education YouTube channel, in the future. But no, I do not have any handouts. There are a lot of tutorials online, by the way, if you want to learn to do something else. Okay, so you see there are a few songs here that I have played around with, and that is where your library of projects will be. But in the upper right-hand corner, you see a blue plus. I want to go on and click on that, and we're going to open it up to tracks. You'll see at the top, it says tracks on live loops. I want to make sure tracks is the light gray. See, live loops, I don't want that. I want tracks. And this is where you can go to choose your instruments. So we're going to do a quick little activity with everybody right now. And I want you to find strings. If you're having audio issues, I'm going to ask that you leave the meeting, come back in, and connect with your phone. So we're going to look at the track right now. I've got strings pulled up, okay? At the bottom, you see smart strings, notes, scales, and more sounds. So I'm not a musician. I've took piano lessons for a long time, but I was still no good at it. So I use the smart instruments. You have the option of using your notes and scales. I'm going to click on smart. And can everybody see this okay? Okay, good. So the first thing I want to show you is that when you are working in strings, you're going to bow, right? So you can just touch a sound, but you can also make it, you can bow. Okay? So I want everybody to try bowing D minor. go to A minor. G. Fun, right? So in the Media Lab, this is one of the workshops we do, and it's a lot more fun when you have a whole class of people with you so that everybody can hear at the same time. So what I usually do, this is a nice warm-up activity to introduce students to GarageBand, is I break the room up into sections because you see your instruments, first violins, second violins, violas, cellos, and basses at the top. You can divide the group into sections and they can silence by tapping to take the spotlight away. Now only the first violins will play.
Excuse me, Cynthia, we had a couple of questions, actually the same question. They wanted to know how you make it bow.
Let me do this. Let me go back to turning my video on here. And I'm going to hold this up so you can see. All right, to make it out, so I could just touch it to play it down. You'll see the delay. And then I can bow. Does that help?
Someone is also asking about the first step to get to the screen, to the main screen that you're on.
Okay,
I think they missed it.
Okay, you start out with this menu. When you open it up, there's a plus in the upper right-hand corner. Then you're just going to make sure you're on tracks. Up here, tracks. And then you can scroll to find strings. And then I want you to select Smart Strings, the very first one at the bottom. That help?
I think so. A couple of folks have said the app looks different, and some people don't have the instrument pictures at the top.
Okay, choose tracks instead of live loops. Oh, what pictures? You mean of the instruments?
Yes, up there at the top of the bars.
You might need the latest version.
Oh, and some folks said that clicking on the clock fixed it. So if people are having issues, they might try that. Okay. I'm assuming the clock is in to the right of the instruments and the bars.
This right here?
Yes.
That's autoplay. We're going to get into autoplay. But anyway, you can select it by just selecting the instrument. You can turn it off or on. So it's nice to have this little section. You have the whole room doing different things, and you basically have your own orchestra going on. Okay.
Oh, so one last comment. It seems it's different on the phone versus the iPad, so that might explain it.
I was wondering about that too. One thing you might want to do is turn your phone on your iPad into landscape, because it looks a lot different like this. Well, I'm small. Landscape.
Cynthia, there's a question as well. Are you on a MacBook?
No, I'm using an iPad.
Just an iPad. Okay.
Yeah, this is the iOS version.
Okay.
The one on MacBook is more sophisticated. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. So I wanted to point out a few other things. If you click autoplay, you can have, I've got it on number 1. Now when I bow, I'm going to turn all these back on. All right, now I'm going to stop it by tapping again to stop it. And I could go to 2, 3, and 4, so you can explore that. You also can choose chords or notes. And then where it says cinematic, you can change to modern, pop, or romantic. I like the pop a lot too. All right. Everybody okay?
I just reposted
How do you
a question for you, Cynthia.
Okay. So you make sure that you are in tracks. And then you can scroll till you find string. And then select string or smart strings. And then in the upper right hand corner or upper left hand corner, there says cinematic. Click on that and you can find other tracks. So if you click, these are the tracks. And at the top, it says tracks and live loops.
And there was a question too. Someone doesn't have anything Apple. Can she still follow along? She doesn't think so.
It's not, I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. If you want to try Soundtrack, that is another app that you can use for other platforms. But you do need an Apple product too, or I think it's $10 if you want to download it to another Android or something. All right, I want to show you some other things while we're in here. I'm going to start at the top left corner where you see the dog-eared piece of paper, and I'm going to move right. Okay, so above where it says cinematic, the little dog ear will take you back to the projects. Okay, where you can go and find another song that you worked on or to start a new project. Beside that, will take you back to tracks. It looks like it's a rectangle with little rectangles on each side. So I can just click that and I get back to my instruments. Next to that are my levels where I can go in and I can change the reverb, the volume, the echo. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I can go and change the levels there. And then I have my little rewind that will take my playhead all the way back to the beginning, first bar. That is very important, especially if you go in, going to be layering in a little bit. That is important to do if you want to start at the beginning of your project. Next to that is play, and then next to that is record. So if I go to record, it will count down. My metronome is blinking in blue. If I don't want it, I can turn it off. And then the record is going to be red. And once you hit stop, if I had an instrument there, if I had music going, it would turn green. Next to that is my volume where I can turn up and down my volume. There's the metronome again beside that. Then the settings bar. This is really cool because it's where you can go in and change the tempo, the time signature, the key signature. You can go in and edit chords. You can choose to fade out your song. You can have jam sessions where you can connect with other iPads and everybody can play a song or have, a jam session basically. You can go into band and things like that too and do. Next to that is the question mark is really good for learning about things they're not sure about. So if you look at something, you're like, what is that button and what does it do? Then you can turn that question mark on and it will tell you. You can click to learn more. And then I'm going to check it again or click it again and it's going to go away. Below that, you see chords and notes, of course, but between there's your bars. If you click on the plus, you can change the bars there. So today we've been on 8 bars because we have a short song. We don't have a whole lot of time, but you can go in and add more bars if you want. Okay. So now once you click on your tracks button, remember that's the one that's the little rectangle, the little boxes on each side. Tracks are basically your instruments. So when I'm talking about tracks, we're looking at instruments, and I want you to swipe until you find drums. Not drummer, but drums. And I want you to click the smart drums. You can choose acoustic if you're a musician, you're a drummer, choose that, or a beat sequencer. Right now, I'm just going to use the smart drum because, again, I'm not a drummer. My son is, but I'm not. And when you come to this, you've got this is another track. So you're looking at another view, and these are your drum machines. So where it says hip hop drum machine or whatever comes up for you, you can click on that and you can change. You can instruments over on the right, and you've got a little dice right here, or die. So I'm going to point out that you've got loud at the top, quiet at the bottom, simple on the left, and complex on the right. So you could drag in instruments. If you like it, you can hit record. You have the dice go and see what happens. You can go into other kits here and try that. House drum has a lot of instruments. I'm going to play around with that until I find something I like. And when you play, after you hit record, and when you get 8 bars, I want you to stop that. This grid, yes, it allows you to choose exactly where you want to put this in the loud, simple, complex, and quadrant. So if you play around, you can hear it's faster if it's more complex or has a different beat. Simple, it's very even beat, not complex. I see people on the iPhone. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see everything on the iPhone. I think you can still do it. I know a lot of kids are doing this stuff on their iPhones. No, it's not available on the book. Sorry. Okay. So, yeah, figures. Is everybody ready to move on?
Cynthia, there
Yeah.
was a question about how you get more percussion instruments.
Okay, so I just went into my drum kit and I chose the one I have currently is the house drum machine. You could go to your vintage kit and get another. You can go to Live Rock and get more. And you just change it up based on the genre. I think I deleted the last one. Let's see. Yes. Let me go lay down a beat again. Okay. See this little button right here? You make a mistake, that little button right there is your undo. So you can undo things. Now, we've got everything recorded, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to go to our layers. It looks like Tetris. They're little rectangles of different sizes, and that is going to take us into layers. This is the coolest thing about GarageBand. You have up to 32 layers of instruments and sounds that you can lay into a song. 32. So these can come in at any time. You can edit them. You can change them. There are lots of tutorials out there. You can learn how to do a bass drop. I'm going to show you where you would go to do a bass drop. So, everybody okay? All right. What you can do now, I want to show you this menu at the top. Again, you've got your dog ear, takes you to your projects. Then you've got tracks. A little, it looks like a drum now. That's where we are now, the layers. Then we have these levels. We can go in and adjust the treble, the bass, the echo, the reverb, track volume, whatever you need. Next to that is FX. I'm going to get to that later. Next to that is undo. And then you've got all your buttons you saw before. There is a little button before the settings that looks like a roller coaster. Those are live loops, and I'm going to get in that in a little bit. So I'm just going to click on my little gauge or levels and to make that go away. At the bottom, there's a plus. We're going to go out and we're going to find another instrument to play. So this time you get to choose whatever you want. I like to go with the keyboard next because I kind of want a little bit of a synth in there. So I'm going to go with my Alchemy synth. You choose what you want. And I want you to lay down a new track of 8 bars. And once you've laid down a new track, I want you to go back to your layers again, and you will see 2 tracks. Okay, are you ready to move on? Is anybody still working on their second track? How do you go back to this? So if I'm in here, up in the top left-hand corner, you're going to see the dog ear, the tracks, and next to that, it kind of looks like Tetris. And that's where
Cynthia,
you're going to
hold it up a little more, please.
What was that?
Could you hold it up a little more, please? We can't, it's getting cut off. Thank you.
So at the top, you see the, let me go back. So at the top, you see the dog ear on the left. And next to that, you see your tracks button. And then next to that, you've got your layers. And the layers, they look like Tetris. That's how you get to where you can edit your layers, which is where we're going to go now. Now you notice I have a track there that I didn't put anything on, just taking up space. If you hold that down or double tap on that, oops, hang on. If you swipe to the right, you can change volume. I can also, not working for me, I guess you can delete that. Okay, so you tap in here and you can select, no, I don't want to do that. Oh, there it is. I can delete it. I can also tap on it and I can duplicate it, resume, merge, automate, showing grid, and icons. Okay, let's go to live loops real quick. So the roller coaster up in the right-hand side of the screen, right below where it's got my little recording going on. If I tap that, these are loops that have been recorded by musicians. Also, that's how the drummer is in the tracks. One of the instruments is drummer, and there are some famous drummers around the world who have submitted some samples that students can use or anybody can use in their songs. Live loops, you can search by instrument, or genre, or the descriptors. So I like to go with genre, and I'm going to choose the hip hop. And I'm going to go down, and you can just play these samples. I can go down further and get into more. So you get samples. Just take it and you drag it in like it.
Cynthia, could you repeat how to add the layers?
There's a plus on the very bottom if you want to go out to instruments, but I just clicked on live loops and then click on whatever you want to hear, and then when you like it, you just hold it and drag it into your layer. Okay, I love live loops because I'm not a musician, but and it's also great for sampling. So I want to show you what you can do once you get into your layers. So if you double tap, I'm going to tap on this one that I made earlier. And then you notice that menu. I don't know why you can't. Can you see that well enough? Anyway, that menu, it says cut, copy, delete, loop, split, edit, rename, settings. So I can go in and I can copy and paste this and put it into even another song if I wanted to. I could loop it, I can split it. So maybe I want to take out a section. So wherever my playhead is, that's important, playhead before you go to edit, same with video. I'm going to select and split it. And then I have these little scissors that pop up. All I have to do is drag the scissors down, and then I can go to here and I can split again. And I can drag the scissors. And now I can select this and I can delete it. So there's nothing there now. I can also move these. I can trim them from the side ends by just touching on the yellow area when I select it on the edge, and you can do it on either side. I can move the whole thing around. Now here's another cool thing. If you tap and you go to edit, it brings up your scales. And you can scroll up and down the entire. That's really loud, sorry. So another thing you can do here is where you can go in and manipulate the notes on the scale. So you choose what scale you want, and if you just add, I've got to click on this little pencil up here to edit. It has to be red before you can go in and edit. And now I can add notes. I can make them longer. By tapping and holding on them, I can make them longer. I can make them shorter. I can delete them by tapping again. This is where you will go to do a bass drop. A bass drop, first time I tried it, took me a whole hour because I was planning on doing that with students. But it took the whole hour and it's really complex. But you can search for it on YouTube and find tons of tutorials out there for anything you want to learn how to do. That's how I learned everything, is by doing tutorials and playing around. Okay, when you're finished with that, you just click that little pencil again and then hit done in the right corner. And it takes you back to your tracks or your layers. Now, I want to show you some other things that you can do. This is great for anything. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my tracks and I am going to find, you see, if you have guitars, electric guitars or electronic keyboards that you want to add, you can use these amps. You can plug those into your device. You can get adapters for that, plug them into the device, and you can use this amp. That's cool. Audio recorder. If you click on the mic, it says voice. This is where you have auto tune. It's not actually auto tune, but it works like auto tune. So if you're a singer, if you want to create any kind of monologue recording, this is a great way to go. You can actually connect the mic and have really good audio or really good sound with your voice. If that's on studio, but if you select fun, you can now go into character voices. So this is great for video production, it's great for theater, it's music, whatever. You can create things, different sounds with your voice. And you can record those and lay those into layers if you want to put them into a song. I think that's awesome. Another thing I want to show you is if you go to the keyboard again, I'm going to show you the sampler. So we see at the bottom it says Smart Piano, Alchemy Synth, and next to that is a sampler. So if I go to the sampler, this is where I can make my own samples. So if I hit start, ow, and stop, so I think it didn't capture it because I'm right here, right? Start, ow. Now, wait a minute, let me do it this way. Sorry. So anyway, I can play. This is the part. I don't know what happened to my recording. New sample. Oh, it's because I've got this plugged in, I bet. Anyway, you can create sounds with your voice. I don't know why it's not doing this for me now. It always has. I really like it because you can change the shape of your samples, but I don't know why it's not working for me right now. That's the first time it has it. Okay. So I like that because you can create sound effects. You can, it's Foley art. You can go in and sample songs that you've created. I wouldn't sample other people's music, especially teaching students about copyright. I know that you can, but it's so blurry. And maybe that is a good lesson to have for a day is copyright. But I don't know why it's not working. I'll figure it out and I'll put some kind of note out there for this. Anyway, let's go back to tracks. I want you to find another instrument that you want to lay into your song. So I'm going to choose strings again. And notice it plays all the layers while you're recording so that you can hear how it sounds in your song. Everybody go back. The voice changer part on the phone. It would still be your audio, I think. Your audio recorder. All right. So go and record a new layer. I like the world instruments a lot. Go and go with things. I think it's an echo, but it sounded like it to me, but not sure. I tap on fun to get to the character voices. Hmm. Did you, Martha, did you just um, download this GarageBand? Are you on the newest version? Okay. I haven't played around with it on my phone, but I can go back and look, and I'll add some notes or something somehow to this. You'll be able to find the presentations on our KET Multimedia PD Day site, I think. Can't make it a ringtone. We're going to get to that point, but I want to show you some more things first. We will get to that. All right, so once you've got some layers going on and you're ready to kick it up a notch, I want you to turn on the FX. This is where you can be the DJ. This is, kids love this, all right? So you can scratch, you can repeat, you can change anything. You've got your 2 turntables and a microphone right here, okay? So I'm going to hit play. I'm going to back it all the way up. Now I'm playing. All right, that sounds terrible, I know, but it's fun and you can explore. This is just throwing it out there without any thought, but it's a lot of fun. Okay, so the layers with nothing in them. If you just double tap, not double tap, it's different when you're holding it this way. So if you hold on the layer, you can delete it there. If you just touch and hold that instrument, takes some getting used to. That's a good question. Anybody else? I love how you're all figuring this out on the phone part. All right, let's go back to tracks. To check out live loops. There's another DJ section. This is where you can be in control of your house party. So you notice you have all of these different genres. I like the dubstep. And it takes a little bit to load this. And then you notice that you have columns and rows. All right. Now the columns are different instruments. The rows are different loops and waves of those instruments. At the bottom, you have little arrows. Okay. So I can play, this is a wave and this is a loop. So the wave has an end, the loop is infinite. Okay. So I can play the column by clicking on an arrow. And I can stop at the top. I can also record this and lay this as a layer if I want to. But the FX, remember the FX? So now you can have control of all of this and you can scratch and mix and do all of that right here. That's a lot of fun as well. Okay, 9:45. So I want to show you what to do when you're finished with your project. So you go back to your projects, which is the little dog-eared piece of paper. You just did will be the very first project. If I tap and hold, I can rename it. But I recommend, and you can also rename your tracks so that you know what's for. And then you've got share. So when you select share, you have an option of your ringtone, your song, and your project. The song is what I recommend starting with. This is where you can go and select ringtone, and you can save it as your ringtone. Project is nice because if you're sending it off to your vocalist who's going to lay down a track, or to an engineer who's going to add more, you can add this project to your classroom or whatever, and students can go in and work on the same project. But if you go to song, then you have quality you can choose. Lossless and uncompressed are the highest quality. You're looking for that. For the sake of saving space on my iPad, I usually just go with high quality. And then I click on share, and it's going to ask me share. What you do is you can share it by saving it in your in your files, but I really think it's cool that you can actually share it to an iMovie. And once you do that, it will open up, let's see. It will open up, it will ask you if you want to put it in an existing or a new movie project. And this is how you can lay in a song into your iMovie. Okay, any other questions? That wasn't too hard to listen to and all that music. Link to the session evaluation, Lynn posted. Does anybody want me to go back and repeat anything? If you have any questions, now's the time. You can always contact me. Also, I wanted to add, I'm going to be offering this virtually for students this year, so just contact me if you want to schedule a virtual workshop. So, you should be able to
about 7:30 and they wasn't none out. But I'll call it to them, okay?
Okay, they got beans, no potatoes.
Okay. All right, so you should be able to, I'm not sure how to save it. All right, you should be able to go back to your projects, like close out of the track and then, or close out of it. It automatically saves. So close out of the app and then go back in, and it should be the very first song. And then you can just tap and hold and click share, and then choose how you want to share it. If you want it to be a song, a ringtone, or a project. And you can unmute your mic to ask the question to keep the evaluation link up there if you have any questions or want to. Does anybody want to share? Thank you. I hope it's good. This is the first time I've actually been able to do this with a group. I've done this one-on-one with students before, but not with a group. Thanks. Okay. Does anybody want to share? I had to share my mind, so I would like to hear somebody else's. There's the link. Who's sharing? I hear it. Hey, Amanda. Okay. So nobody has any questions about this? I'm going to turn it back over to here. Well, that's all I have. I'm surprised that I ended a little early. I thought it would take up the whole hour, but as long as everybody's all right, then you can take a break before your next session.